to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land of...
Hello everyone and welcome to a special edition of On Tour. It's now history that the West Indies have lost the first test against South Africa at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground in St. Lucia. A look at the scorecard again. The West Indies batting first after winning the toss, making a paltry 97, which they never really recovered from in the match. South Africa, led by Quinton de Kock's masterful 141 not out, replied with 322. It was his sixth test century. The West Indies in their second innings, they were shut out for 162. Only 62 from Roston Chase was the mainstay there. No other batsman even making 20. It was an excellent bowling performance from Kagiso Rabada. Rabada, of course, getting another 5-wicket haul and looking in impeccable shape. The 26-year-old now moving to 208 test wickets with his 10th 5-wicket haul, doing wonderful stuff. Well, Captain Craig Brathwaite faced a stern examination from the members of the local press after the match.
Well, you got good days and bad days. Everything won't always be perfect. So, for me, that's it. We didn't have a good first innings. And, as batters, we have to do. It's good Roston Chase, showing a lot of fight in the second innings. But, for me, you get good days and bad days, to be honest. So you just got to make sure you learn, from both the good days and the bad days.
Right. And secondly, I noticed from the television, I didn't see any shots of batting coach Monty Dasai at all. Is he there?
No, he's not here. He's not here. No, he's still back home, trying to get some flights over, but he's not here.
So is it fair to say that his absence kind of show up a bit?
Nah, it's not fair. I think the coaches here are doing a very good job. And so, I won't say that he's missed, but I won't say it's because of that. I think the coach is doing a fantastic job.
My final question is this. How do we recover mentally from this? Because the South Africa attack seems so potent. How do we recover from this? How do we play them?
Well, I think, obviously we have plans and, they didn't go to plan. But for me, it's just to refresh, obviously it's history. You can't bring it back. And, obviously we saw how they bowl. So it's good that, you obviously get the experience against them. And, it's just, the next game, to be fully locked into that plan. We know it will be challenging, throughout, whether it's the first ball or throw. You saw the guys were very important, as you said. But I just think is, to back that plan. I think you got to be tough. And, just enjoy it. As I said, you get times like these and it's easy, for doubt to come in. But, my thing for the guys was just to keep backing that plan and keep believing. And for me, that's the main thing.
All right, Skipper. All the best.
Yeah, thanks.
Jerome Foster, please proceed.
All right, Craig, afternoon, everybody.
Yeah.
Obviously, not the best of performances with the bat, but at 100 and resuming yesterday, with South Africa resuming yesterday at 100 and I think 31 for 4 or 28 for 4.
Yeah.
Do you think that you missed an opportunity where you could have clawed your way back into the game in the first hour or so?
Well, I thought the bowlers did a very good job, to be honest. Keeping the scoring rate under 3 for majority time. I think Quinton de Kock was, played outstanding innings. And, I really can't have fault on the bowlers at all. I thought, at times, everyone put in 100%. And, I think he played a superb innings. We didn't get, a chance. And, yeah, that's basically it. We did have a chance, but obviously, Quinton played a very good knock.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Michelle McDonald.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Craig. The interview after the match, you said it's not technical, it's mental. Can you expand on that, please?
Well, he obviously asked a question in terms of, what he would do in these days before the next test. And, all the guys, here could back. So, for me, it's just, it's history, what is gone. So it's important not to stress on the past. And looking ahead, it's having that clear mindset. And as I said, trusting in your plan. And I think that's the main thing, is not to worry about what's gone and, how you may have been dismissed and stuff. Having a clear mindset, going forward, I think that's part of the mental side.
I have another question following up from that because I think I saw you have the team has a mental person, can't remember his name, a Trinidadian person. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Traveling with the team. So what kind of work would need to be done between now and the next match on the mental aspect?
Well, I mean, I think he has been doing a superb job throughout all the tours we have been on, and I don't think it's nothing different we'll do. To be honest, it's pretty much the same. And as I said, it's just putting the past behind us, and looking ahead, and trusting and believing in the plans. I think having that clear mindset will be key.
All right, thanks. Good luck in the next match.
Thanks.
Zahir Clark, that's the last indication of a question. All right, don't worry. Zahir Clark, please proceed.
Sorry.
And we'll take Andrew Miller after Zahir.
Hi, good evening, good afternoon, Craig.
Yeah.
I have a question. West Indies has won their last 3 test matches against the teams that I think are outside of the top 8. But when you look at the teams in the top 8, we have won only 1 of the last 8. And that's going back to around October 2019, thereabout. What do you think needs to be done to improve the team's performances against teams that are in the top 8?
Well, I mean, in this game, obviously we saw in the crucial period, obviously we batted first and we didn't get runs on the board. So I just think it's, some crucial periods of games, we fought as a team at times, but, all that is the past. And I think, as I said, you have bad days and good days. It's important that we learn from this game. And, in the second test, we, obviously first innings, you obviously want a bigger score and, continue bowling well. And we didn't get many partnerships, this game. So I think one of the keys, especially playing good teams, is that, you got to obviously have a good start. And I think that's one of the main things. We, that crucial period, the first innings, we didn't get a good total. So we were always on the back foot.
If I can follow up, it's talked about having a good start on a foundation, and looking back, I think all the way to 2015, I'm seeing where as openers, West Indies openers have had only like 1 century partnership, and if we look at even 50-run partnerships, I think we're only doing that 13% of our innings, which is probably the lowest among the top ranked teams. What do you think we need to do to fix, especially the top order, to build that solid foundation so that the team can set up test matches, especially in that first innings, so that we can be more successful?
Well, I mean, obviously it's an interesting stat, and the easiest thing is you could dwell on it, as batsmen on a whole. So, as I said, I just think it just goes back to having that clear mindset and that plan, and just knowing, as batsmen what we want to do and 100% backing that plan. I think the more times you could do that as batsmen, obviously opening batsmen, I think that's the key. So it's just to, keep backing the plans. I mean, technically, it's all a mental game, test cricket. And, really it's just about that clear plan. And once we could do that more consistently, I think that would help for, better foundations being built, early on.
All right, thank you, Cap.
Yeah. Well.
Andrew Miller.
Hi, Craig. Just a quick one, I guess a more upbeat aspect of the match was Jayden Seales. He looked a real deal on his debut, and obviously so young as well. I mean, tell me a little bit more about what you made of him as captain.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I saw him was we went to New Zealand, and that's the first time I would have, saw him bowl. And, I just knew he just had a natural length, and not all bowlers. I mean, obviously a good set do, but, you could have seen he had a natural length, and obviously he swings the ball. So I pretty much not surprised, by obviously his performance in this game and the future. I think he's something special, and obviously he's quite young. So, he's only played one for his last game. So, I think that says a lot. And even at practice, different little things he does with the ball and what he says, to back it up is quite, phenomenal. And I mean, he's for sure one for the future, big time.
I was going to ask you about that. One first-class game and straight into a test match. I mean, you must be impressed with the way his stamina held up, really. I guess he hadn't been tested with that many overs before in any format.
Yeah, I mean that just goes to show, that he's pretty special. I mean, obviously fast bowling is hard work, and in this game, he bowled over 20 overs and he never once complained. I mean, obviously he's young, but he was strong. His pace was up throughout, and I really think he's something special for sure.
And just on the pace bowlers, there was some talk first day. There was some surprise, I guess, that Alzari Joseph missed out. Was there any niggle or anything with him, or was it just a selection reason for him not playing?
No, just selection reason at that point, for the game.
I mean, in hindsight, obviously, it did seem to be a pitch that favoured the quicks. And in hindsight, do you think probably 2 spinners was too many?
Well, no, I mean, Ross and Chase obviously batted at 4. So, obviously he's a batsman. Obviously, bowls a quality off break as well. But, no complaints from, the team's perspective. I just think, the first innings, we were on the back foot, obviously after a low first innings total.
Thank you.
And the final question will be from Nikki. However, I am seeing a question in the chat here from NCN Sport Guyana, and they're asking, what do you make of Chase's innings given the impressive display from the Proteas bowlers? We'll also take one more from Jerome Foster, and then we'll go to Nikki to end today's engagement.
Well, Roston, he showed a lot of fight. Obviously, batted over probably 130 balls. So, that was an example we could use, going forward. And just by watching how he went about his innings, something as simple as that, could help us as batsmen. So I very impressed, and, he showed a lot of fight, and, that was good. It was good to see.
Jerome, we'll take yours and then we'll move on to Nikki so that she can end the engagement as promised.
All right. Craig, obviously you don't have any regrets about the makeup based on your responses, but what is the condition of Shannon? Is it that he could be back in line to be in the 13-man squad for the next test?
He was going through some paces in the last couple of days, and I haven't got a report as yet per se. So, we can't say on that point as yet, but he has been going through some paces, and obviously we'll see in the next upcoming days.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Nikki.
Hi, Craig. Bad luck on today. For the next test, would you change anybody in your team? And the pitch for the next test also looks a little bit greener than today's one. So would that make a difference as to who you choose?
Obviously, we're quite away, a long way from, not long, but, a couple of days away from the next test. But, the team, as I said, the first innings wasn't good, but, 100% behind this team for sure.
And what is the makeup? I mean, does the pitch look that different to the one we played on today, or was it not?
The pitch look better.
It's pretty much the same. I mean, they're obviously side by side, and but I mean, pretty much the same, to be honest.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. And on behalf of the media, Craig, I want to say thank you for making yourself available for the post-match press conference. And on our behalf, on behalf of the team and Cricket West Indies, I'd like to say thanks to all the journalists who joined. So that we'll have another press conference today with the head coach, Phil Simmons, and I'll advise on the time of that in our established WhatsApp group, and looking forward to having you all, and then we will move on from there. Thanks for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day.
When we come back, we look at the insightful bowling of Kagiso Rabada.
To the top, it's time to jump up, people. Are you ready?
We're back on tour. Kagiso Rabada bowled with life and great skill to capture another 5-wicket haul in his excellent career so far. The 26-year-old, now with 208 wickets, picked up his 10th 5-wicket haul in Test cricket. He also spoke to the press about how the match turned on its head.
Yes, first of all, thank you. And I think it was a really good team performance, especially from the bowlers. But, you know, it wasn't the easiest wicket to bat on. And I think the guys applied themselves well. We spoke about it and we kind of knew what to expect after playing the 2-day warm-up game here. It was moving around quite a bit. And I thought that Aiden batted extremely well. Rassi absorbed pressure. And then Quinton just came on and just did his thing. That's the Quinny that we know. And, you know, we've got so much potential in our team. And, yeah, this test match, it came out. And we're hoping for more of the same. It's happened in the past. And we're hoping for more of the same in the future.
Ken?
Thanks, Sips. Hi, Kiso, very well bowled. Did you feel in the first innings that you were a little bit unlucky? Because, I mean, you probably bowled just as well in the first innings and in the second. And it's your first 5-wicket haul since the Australia series back in 2018. Do you look at stats like that? Do you? I mean, I know that has been pointed out in the media a bit this week, but is that something that bothers you?
I guess, you know, you measure the highest accolades in cricket. You measure them by scoring hundreds, big hundreds, and taking fifers and tenfers. So, I mean, it's something that you always strive to do. And unfortunately, it hasn't happened for me in the past years, in the recent years. But I'm glad that it's happened today. You know, the only thing you can judge yourself on is being consistent in your preparation. I'm just really relieved. It's basically like scoring 100. Who wouldn't be happy with scoring 100? So I'm really glad with the performance that I put in. But, you know, without the support from other teammates, not necessarily supporting me, but, you know, the way that they're playing, it makes things a lot easier. You know, Lungi's bowling exceptionally well. Anas has been bowling well for the past 2 years. And the batters came on board and scored some runs. So yeah, it is quite a relief, but I guess it's not something that you look for and that you're extremely desperate for. All you can do is control what you can control, and the rest, I guess, is up to the cricket gods. The cricket gods are on my side today, and on our team side.
Sorry, KG, just your first innings performance. Did you feel you bowled as well in the first innings and you were just a bit unlucky?
Look, sometimes that's the way the game goes. You can bowl extremely well and get no wickets. It's an old cliche, but it's funny how these cliches always repeat themselves in terms of one's performance or actions that happen or events that happen within a game. I thought I put the ball in the right areas, but it's just small adjustments that need to be made that, you know, you can get that LBW or get that nick off. And I think, yeah, that's why this game is not easy, and sometimes that's why this game can be a bit unforgiving.
Zahir Clark, followed by Telford and then Fidos.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks, KG. KG, South Africa has won the last 7 Test series against the West Indies, which I think their sole loss against West Indies coming way back in 1992. What positives from this Test match will the team bring to the next Test to shut out West Indies and try to win the series 1-0 or 2-0?
I think our team has got confidence from this win. We are a young team and we are rebuilding. Even our most experienced players are young. Like myself, Quinny, probably the most experienced after Dean. And then you've also got Timber, and, you know, for me at 26 to be one of the most experienced, just paints a picture of how young we are as a team, and it's going to give us massive confidence, not only moving into the next Test match, but moving into the next year. But with that being said, we just need to stick to our processes for the next game. You can't take anything for granted. We just need to take all the positives that we've established, that we've done in this test match, and keep building on those. And whatever we feel that we can adjust on in terms of what we have not done that well, we can fix those errors. But this win has given us as a young team a lot of confidence.
Alfred?
Hello, Kagiso. Very well bowled. It was such an emphatically different performance from South Africa, just as a team, from what we've seen, a little too often over the last while. And I just wonder, how does that happen? I mean, that all these moving parts can just suddenly all go in the right direction. I mean, I know you have a new captain. I don't think I've ever seen Dean Elgar so happy, never mind for 2 days. And I wonder, how can so many things go so right? Have you thought about that?
This game can be a little bit unforgiving, like I said before. But I think we were consistent in our preparations, and we established what type of cricket that we want to play, and set a few standards that we want to uphold. So we just literally stuck to that. And if we continue to do that, I guess the luck is going to be on our side more often than not. If you look at, in the previous games that we played, and myself included, we're probably lacking, in important times of the game, important periods of the game, and somehow just let the game slip away from us. We are good in batches, but then at times we can get quite sloppy. So I think that this test match, we just kept our foot on the throttle, and we've identified those moments where we feel that in the past we've kind of slacked off and stuck to our guns. But in saying that, it's not going to get any easier now. It's about consistency now.
Thank you.
Hi, KG, well bowled. KG, I guess you had a good view of how Lungi was performing throughout the match, and you've mentioned him. Could you give us your assessment on what improvements you think he's made? And then also a quick one on Jaden Seals, who a lot of people have compared to you, and I think he quite likes you.
I think, thanks for those. I think Loon's bowled extremely well. Right from the training camp that we held in Centurion, he had the ball on a string. He was bowling really good lines and lengths. His wrist is in a really good position, and he just seemed extremely determined. And now we're just looking for that same intensity as a team right throughout the next coming years to come. But yeah, he bowled magnificently well, and he deserved all the credit that he received in that first innings. Even in the second innings, he bowled really well. Didn't pick up a wicket, so that's how the game can be unforgiving. But the most important thing is that as a team, we've come out and we've won. And then Jaden, I think, is a great prospect for the West Indies. West Indies have always produced bowlers who can bowl really well right to this day from the 80s. And I think they're just continuing the prestigious lineage of producing fast bowlers, and yeah, he's come to the fore. Look, I don't know how much he tried to copy me. I think he's just natural. To be honest, I don't see a huge similarity, maybe a small similarity between our bowling. But yeah, he's a good bowler, and he showed that in the first innings. So yeah, I wish him all the best.
And Kevin, we'll finish with you.
Thank you. Congrats, KG, on your performance. Tell me, what were your memories of the Caribbean before getting here on this tour? And I asked you that because I know you played a couple of ODIs a few years ago, I think it was 2016, here in the Caribbean on some pretty flat tracks in Guyana and St. Kitts and Barbados. Were you perhaps pleasantly surprised by how responsive this St. Lucia pitch was?
My favorite memory of coming to the West Indies was being on a catamaran in Barbados. That was probably one of my top memories. Look, it's kind of sucks that we in the West Indies and we have to be in a bubble. This is a phenomenal place. The cricket takes the credit. By the way, that was a joke. No one laughed. But I guess everything's muted. But yeah, I remember we played a tri-series in 2016. It was us, West Indies, and Australia, and it was a really good one-day competition. We had a strong team. All three teams had strong teams. It was a one-day wicket. This is a test wicket, so you can't really compare the two formats. One-day cricket, you expect there to be, scores of 300 average, and this is a test match. They're probably going to leave more grass on it, and also we're bowling with a Duke ball, so Duke ball tends to do a bit more than the kookaburra because of the seam. It just swings all day too. So there's always there's always something to think about for the batters. But yeah, that's all I can say. But the West Indies is a phenomenal place to tour. It's probably my favorite.
Great stuff there from Kagiso Rabada. So then, the West Indies beat it within 3 days, and now it's on to Friday for the second test at the same venue right here on FlowSports. We'll be able to watch it live and exclusive. For this edition of On Tour, I'm Barry Wilkinson.
Time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand.